This video is sponsored by Recharge.
Hey guys, Chris here. Finally, 6 months after the official launch, I bring you the Volvo EX90. I'm really proud to finally bring you guys this car here on the channel, so please be sure to give this video a thumbs up and also subscribe here if you aren't already. I'm going to bring a lot of cool cars in the upcoming future, the weeks and days to come. We're going to bring a lot of cool cars here on the channel, but today's video is all about this beauty to my right here, the brand new Volvo EX90. We're going to go through the exterior, the interior, we're going to walk through some of the features, and yeah, just take a detailed look at this beauty of an electric SUV. I want to start off this tour by talking about the exterior, and I just have to say it right away. After having driven a lot of electric cars lately, you know, the Mercedes EQ line products, Hyundai Ioniq products, and a lot of other electric cars and SUVs, I think this is by far one of the best executions of an electric car in, I don't know, recent history. This is easily the best looking electric SUV on sale today. I mean, this thing is gorgeous. And starting off with the front end, we have an evolution on what we saw with the Volvo XC90 when that was introduced in 2015, the second generation on the SPA1 platform, when, you know, they revised their whole design language and came with the Thor's Hammer LED lights. So they have the Thor's Hammer LED lights now with the nail. That's what this is called. And this is your indicator down here. And then this portion here will actually open up to reveal the headlights. We don't have a grille anymore, as you guys can see here. You only have the Volvo logo, and then you have, you know, this really clean bottom part here with the blacked out. You also have some active aero, which will open, you know, to cool down the car, to reveal some radiators. Overall, the front end is really stunning, and I like that they've kept, you know, that boxy SUV shape. This isn't, you know, a low slung electric SUV. It doesn't, you know, taper down like something like a Model Y from Tesla. It's just a traditional SUV shape, and it's really good looking. Then we move over to the rear end, and as you guys can see, Volvo have kept that, you know, upright tailgate with that boxy shape, though this does taper a little bit more than it does in the Volvo XC90. I've owned a few of them, and from looking at it from this angle, most definitely there's more of an angle here than the, well, Volvo XC90 that is currently on sale. And also behind here on the rear, we have, you know, a little bit more of an evolution. They've cleaned up the design throughout this whole car, just making, you know, joints and edges and details just a little bit more flush and smooth. That is for aerodynamics, but I really, you know, like this evolution on their design language. Is kind of what Range Rover and Land Rover have done with the Range Rover Sport and the new Range Rover, just cleaning up the design, making it, yeah, just cleaner. So what they've done here, traditionally you had, this was one section on the Volvo XC90. You didn't have, you know, this section here into the tailgate. You had the lights there, and then it was connected. Now it's separated. Instead of, you know, these vertical slots or strips, you have these horizontal slots, and I actually think this rear end looks really good. I like that, you know, this is a blacked out piece of trim, and that they did not go with, you know, a full width light bar as a lot of electric cars are doing today. I don't think there's any bad angle of this car whatsoever. From the front it looks good, from the rear it looks good, front 3/4, rear 3/4, and in profile. Look at this thing. I love that they kept this, you know, boxy SUV shape. You know, the roof does taper a little bit, and also that rear screen also tapers a little bit more compared to something like a Volvo XC90, as I said earlier, but it's still a very traditional boxy SUV shape, and it has very strong lines and creases, this beautiful shoulder line. You have these beautiful flush door handles. You have this, you know, indentation here, and also the doors actually close over the sill. I'm going to show you guys later when we, you know, take a look at the interior, to keep your pants clean in winter when you're walking in and out. And also I love this, just this slight accentuation of the wheel arches. We first saw this in the Volvo XC90, and it just looks really, really good. And also with these 22-inch wheels spec'd this way, I think this is a real looker. And I think it's going to win over a lot of people just because how beautiful, designed, and elegant and stylish this is. I just want to give a huge thanks to today's video sponsor, Recharge, which is the most awesome charge point operator in the Nordic countries, Norway, Sweden, and Finland, with 4,000 charging points across all of these countries, making it the largest independent charge point operator in the Nordic countries. So if you want to support the channel, go to the link down below and just find out where your closest recharge charger is. They've been updating a lot of stations lately and also building a lot of new stations. So most likely, if you didn't have a recharge charging station close to you in about a few months ago, you probably have one now. The beautiful, elegant, and just simplification of the design language continues here on the interior. As I said, I've actually owned two Volvo XC90s in the past, and what brought me to Volvo when I was looking at BMWs, Mercedes, and Audis at the time back in 2015 was the stunning interior of the then brand new Volvo XC90 and also the exterior. I think this exterior looks even better than, well, the current generation Volvo XC90. And also this interior is an evolution. It's more modernized, it's more simple. Maybe not to everybody's liking is that everything now is kind of buried in menus. Everything is kind of touch. There are still a few buttons. It still retains a volume knob down here, so applause to Volvo for that. You still have practicality with cup holders. You have this floating center console design, which is, you know, open and split here. A little bit different than what we've seen in the Polestar 3, which this car is closely related to. And it has, you know, the same 8-inch screen here. This is a 14.5-inch screen. And also the gear selector is gone here from the center console from Volvo's, now moved up to the right stack here. That does mean you have wipers, you have, you know, turn signals and all your functionality here on the left side like you do with Mercedes. It's not my favorite. You know, what I really liked about the Volvo XC90s I owned is just the functionality, the stock layout. This isn't going to be as good, but I've been driving a lot of Mercedes lately. It's not too bad, but what is really bad is that the wing mirror controls now aren't here on the left door anymore. You still have window switches, which are done in Volkswagen ID style, where they have to toggle between the front and the rear windows. Not the worst thing. I don't understand why they did that. Maybe for aesthetics. I'm not operating the rear windows too much when I'm driving the car, even with my daughter in the back seat, but I don't understand why they did it. It looks good, but they've taken away some of that functionality. You also had some physical buttons here for the HVAC. You had skip forwards and backwards here, buttons below the screen, the original sensor screen in the Volvo XC90. That's now gone, though you can skip forwards and backwards with the volume knob. You can also press to play and pause, and you can also, of course, rotate it to turn up and down the volume. The layout of the buttons on the steering wheel seem kind of similar, but I'm going to be a little bit critical here. If you guys have seen some of my videos, you know I'm really into interior quality and materials, and that's what really brought me to Volvo from the German brands. And I'm a little bit disappointed that this is kind of a cheap, this is actually a hard touch plastic. This is a prefabricated car for just, you know, shuttling around the world and showing the press like us. There aren't, I think there are like only less than a handful of these in the world, so this doesn't, you know, 100% represent what a production car will feel and look like. There may be changes, and some of the changes I'm hoping for is this being hard touch, not hard touch plastic, because when I'm just touching this with my nail, it actually scratches. This is some of the nastiest plastics I've ever felt. Though this is a vegan interior now, no leather options. This here is the wool blend option, which is going to cost you around 13,000 kronor, so about 1,300 euros, and looks nice. I mean, it's wool, so it's going to breathe really nicely. I prefer the Nordico, which is kind of like a synthetic leather type of fabric, which they've used here on the backrest, but we haven't seen a car anywhere in the world yet. No press has touched or felt it on a full interior, so I'm really curious to see what that's going to be like. I actually have one of these on order. I ordered it the day after they launched it. First thing I went was go to my local Volvo dealer and order one, so hopefully I'm going to be one of the lucky people who gets one in Q2 of 2024, so still a year away. But overall, I really like the design language of this car. It's simplified from the Volvo XC90, and generally materials are nice, but down low in the doors we have hard touch plastics. We don't have that in the Volvo XC90. Also down here low on the center console, also hard touch plastics. You don't have that on the XC90 or even the Polestar 3, which this is closely related to. So compared to the Polestar 3, in my opinion, and I've done a tour of that car also, so link in the description box down below if you want to check that out. This isn't as nice. It's different, you know, maybe I prefer the design here, but the quality of materials is generally lower quality. Another huge thing is that this car comes with a 1640 watt Bowers & Wilkins sound system as an option. I had the original Bowers & Wilkins sound system in my Volvo XC90, both of them, and that is one of the best sound systems sub 10,000 euros in any car, in my opinion. And also there have been done tests with instrumented testing that actually confirms that from independent sources. So this is probably going to be even better than that. So if you're looking to buy one of these, I think that option is about 32,000 kroners or 3,200 euros. If you like listening to, I don't know, podcasts, sound books, or just music, that's an option you absolutely want to have. So in Norway, we're going to get the Twin and Twin Ultra. The Twin Ultra and Twin Ultra Performance. The Ultra is the trim level, and the Twin indicates that you either get it with dual electric motors, 4-wheel drive, and 408 horsepower, 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 5.9 seconds, or 517 horsepower and 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 4.9 seconds. Ultra is the trim level now at launch, and basically has a lot of standard equipment. There aren't a lot of options, so this starts from a little less than 100,000 euros or 1,000,000 kroners, and spec'd out, you know, Performance Ultra with all the bells and whistles is going to be closer to that 115 or 120,000 euros mark. The front seats are super comfortable. The front cabin is super spacious and roomy, and the same goes for the rear seats. And these rear seats are one of the best I've sat in any car, bar none. I mean, they're firm but comfortable at the same time. You can adjust these 3 seats independently, manually. You can the length back and forth. You can slide them forward or backward, and then you can do the headrest. You can't, the backrest. You can't adjust them in the height though. But this is so comfortable, these seats, and if you want to recline it, I can do that also. Room also generally really good. I'm sat behind myself now. I'm 5'10" or 178 centimeters, but we had a guy here yesterday who's about 6'1", 184 centimeters, and he had plenty of headroom. Look at this, guys. I can extend my hand fully. I don't remember the last time I could. That's about 20 centimeters of headroom. This is quite impressive how much headroom there is in this car. And also knee room is impressive. The floor is completely flat, but the most impressive thing is that we also tested yesterday. We're a bunch of journalists here testing and looking at this car. Today I have my private slot so I can film this video for you guys. We tested to sit this seat all the way down, and there's still plenty of room underneath the front seat because they're sitting on like these pylons or something like that. There's just generally a lot of room. And the last thing is that the seat cushion height is really nice. Look at this. I have plenty of under thigh support. So long trips, 2 people back here are going to be super comfortable. This has the optional child seat, the booster seat, which you operate like that. Generally what this does is it makes the middle seat quite hard and harsh, so this isn't nearly as comfortable, and you can see I'm sitting a little bit higher, so the seat cushion is kind of awkward to sit on. I wouldn't like sitting here for longer trips, but the worst thing is the back, because this is just a big backrest. Doesn't feel nice. This rear bench actually looks like what it does in the Volvo XC90. This being an EX90, one of its selling points is that this is a 3-row electric SUV, and to get into the 3rd row is actually manually operated. You press or pull this handle here, and then the seat back comes forward, and then you just slide it. Super simple, super easy. I just test drove and reviewed the Mercedes EQS SUV, which is electric. It does the Symphony, which is really cool, but this is so much easier to use. And also, the step in here is lower than it was in that EQS SUV. and it's easier, even me with a camera, hopefully I can step in, it's not that bad. So let's turn around the camera here for you guys, and I'll show you what this looks like. So maybe a little bit dark, but okay. So you have two seats here in the rear, and it isn't bad. I'm touching my hair. I'm not even wearing it tall, but it's touching. I'd be good because my head's not touching. It's just my hair touching. I'd be good here for a shorter trip. But if you're taller, I think if you're above 6 foot, this may be tight. And also knee room. Look at this. So this is the seat set back all the way back. But if I pull this like this, and then I don't, how do we do this? Okay, and I don't put it all the way in place. Okay, so it's kind of hard doing this by myself, but we tried this yesterday. If we move this about, I don't know, what's that, like 7, 8, 10 centimeters forward, I can actually sit behind myself. And also, you know, the room for my feet underneath here isn't too bad. But when this seat is in a position where I actually have room, I can actually sit in front of myself. And that is actually quite impressive, because if you go watch my Mercedes EQS SUV video, I wasn't able to do that in that car. I couldn't fit behind myself in the third row if I fit in the second row. In this car I can. And this car is about 10 centimeters shorter than that Mercedes EQS. So the packaging here is really, really impressive. So I don't know if you guys have noticed this contraption on the top of the roof, right behind the windscreen. That is called a LiDAR, which is a sensor that can look 250 meters in front of the car and will help with autonomous driving alongside all the cameras and sensors. I'm going to put it on the screen how many cameras and sensors this car has. It's a lot. So this is for future of autonomous driving. I just test drove a Neo ET7, which had a LiDAR like this. I wasn't impressed, but Volvo, with their track record of their, pilot assist, their semi-autonomous driving, and their adaptive cruise control functionality, I'm confident that this is going to be a lot better than it does in that Neo ET7. And also, take a look at these wing mirrors, guys. So we have the new frameless wing mirrors. And these are black painted, really, really cool. And also below here you have cameras. So a lot of cars put the cameras on the front wings, but that would, mess up the design, the clean design. So I think this is a really interesting way to do it. So again, this is a prefabricated car. It's not like a production run even. And you can see the flush door handles. These would pop out if you approached the car or unlocked it. So now you have to pull them manually. Usually these pop-out door handles, in my opinion, feel kind of cheap and chintzy. These feel actually quite nice. And also, I'm going to show you that these door sills, or the doors that close over the sill. So here you have where the door closes. It's really nice. So this isn't going to get dirty in winter time. So that's really, really nice. And also, if we close the door, slowly. Finally, we have soft closed doors on a Volvo. Also, the rear doors soft close. Yeah. Another look at those 22-inch wheels. I think they are gorgeous. There's actually a wheel cover here where you can take off. We took that off yesterday. Don't think it looks particularly nice. Moving over to the rear. This has a large and huge trunk. So you open it up by pressing below there. Is of course electrically operated. And with the third row up, you still have like 310 liters, if I'm not mistaken. And then if you fold the rear seats down, let's see if we can find, where do you do that? Oh, here, button, look at this. Left down, and it's electrically operated. That's really nice. Look at that. Super easy. Wow, that's nice. So with the third row folded down, you now have 655 liters. And remember, guys, that is VDA measurement, what we do in Europe. So that's up to the belt line here. That's not even calculating the room you have above the belt line. Do these come up again? No. Also electrically operated trailer hitch. This car probably does not have that. So yeah. Oh, lastly, guys, this is pretty cool. So there's a graphic here. It's going to show you what you could fit into the car and some of the dimensions. If you, I don't know, you're moving houses, you're buying a bed or a fridge, or maybe a washing machine, you know if it's going to fit or not. So there we go, guys. That was my detailed tour of the exterior and the interior of the Volvo EX90. Let me know what you think down below. I'm really excited about getting one of these next year, even though it's a year away. It's a beautiful, stylish electric SUV with a gorgeous exterior and a beautiful interior. I just can't wait to get one on the road, hopefully sometime next year. So again, if you don't want to miss out on this car next year and the other electric cars I have here on the channel, please be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. So guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please drop me a thumbs up down below, and for more car content, as always, please subscribe. See you guys later and goodbye.